everybody, hope you're having a great day. Welcome to George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformers fan. Today on George Reviews, we'll be taking a look at Hasbro Pulse exclusive G.I. Joe Classified series, Dr. Mindbender. So I believe this was originally an exclusive for PulseCon. Then they had a few quantities available on HasbroPulse.com. After the fact, I went a premium member, so they all continued to sell out before I can get any. But one day back in, I think it was March, I was at work. A friend of mine was like, you know, Dr. Mindbender is up on Hasbro Pulse. I was able to get one. It took so long to come out, I actually forgot that I was able to acquire one or pre-order one. And I was considering getting one secondhand market at a decent price. I was like, that price not too bad. I might want to go for it. Then I got an alert on my phone saying it would be delayed to September 15th when it was released. And I got it shortly thereafter. Straight from Hasbro Pulse. Yeah, let's take a look at Dr. Mindbender. Stop all this talking. I do not like it when they make main characters exclusives and hard to get. Like, I still can't believe the color change Zartan was an exclusive. And I refuse to pay aftermarket prices for that color change Zartan. I think that is like the worst thing ever. Here is the packaging. It is a glorious packaging. If you have Serpentor, it's just like Serpentor. If you have this figure, you know what it looks like. Dr. Mindbender is shredded. You see the veins. That artwork is awesome. Alright, down here is an image of Dr. Mindbender. Look like he's in Atlantis. I never knew he raided Atlantis. And turning the box around there. Oh, here's a completed picture on the back of the box. And wait, this little cover slides off. And now we see the completed picture of Dr. Mindbender. This artwork is awesome. It truly is. Has like the Frankenstein electrodes up here. He has himself in some type of machine right here. I guess adding his intellect to Serpentor's makeup. There is the DNA strand we saw on the cartoon for Serpentor creation. And a better picture of this guy. This guy actually went to Atlantis to steal. I mean, whose sarcophagus is that? I don't even know. This doesn't look like a Cobra Eel right there. I don't know, but I mean, is that Aquaman's sarcophagus from Atlantis or King Atlanta, or whatever his name is from Atlantis? I don't know. Down here in these jars, we have history's greatest conquerors. That's Genghis Khan. And hell, who is that? George Washington? I don't know, but it looks nice. It looks creepy and nice at the same time. Dr. Mindbender with Serpentor's cowl, the Baroness and Destro. Over here, these guys are raiding Egypt. He has the mummy right there, reminiscent of the vintage comic book. Up here, we have another mummy. I guess this is the mummy he got, just meant to look creepier in Egypt or whatever. We got a little sandstorm going on. The helicopter's coming in. This is an awesome, awesome package. I hate when they're so good because I really don't keep these packages because of space. But man, like, I kept Serpentor, so I guess I'll keep this one. And here's a Cobra symbol designed like a DNA strand or hourglass or infinity, whichever one you want to look at it. And opening it up, there is Dr. Mindbender with his accessories. I don't even know what half this stuff is. A couple jars. Mars right there. Destro's company. But man, the package presentation looks fantastic. Wow. Before I destroy this packaging in Dr. Mindbender is numerically ordered at number 43 right there on top of the box. Look at the top of the box. Cobra symbol right there, but nothing special going on. Oh, and he has these symbols over here to designate his intellect, his strength, and his rank, and all of that stuff. There's Dr. Mindbender right there, and 43 right there. And I'm going to open it on this side. One large tray for Mindbender and some of his accessories. Look at the brain. Yeah, they make sure you got to go all in this package, boy. I'm telling you, mint in box, this thing is going to be worth a ton of money down the road. I'm opening mine up. Only have one. And for the final side and accessory. Bam. One last look at the empty box, and we are moving on. This concludes the unboxing. I'm not going to pull everything out on camera, but I'm going to pull Dr. Mindbender out and then move on. This cape is pushed through the back of the packaging. Alright, so I'm going to officially conclude the unboxing portion of the review and move on. Alright, let's bring Mindbender closer. His entire torso from his waist to his head is casted in one color plastic, his flesh tone. See that immediately. Let's take a look at his face first and foremost, right there. The monocle on his eye, I believe, is glued in, but it is a separate piece and it's translucent, and it even magnifies his eye just like a real monocle would. That is an amazing touch, a nice attention to detail right there. It is clear with a little silver around it. You see the molded in lines in his forehead, looks good. His eye printing and face is on the scope. His eyebrows to his handlebar mustache, a little bit of coloring on his bottom lip. Alright, let's get Dr. Mindbender head sculpt next to some vintage artwork, and here we go. It matches up pretty good. Artwork has the gritty expression, but there's not much to really get wrong here. You got a bald guy with a handlebar mustache, even though the artwork mustache kind of points down, but still looks good. His chest is ripped. I believe he should have the Cobra emblem on here, but I guess this is the modernized version. I mean, his little kinky queen outfit he got going on right here. Down to the cameo crotch, the little metal down here. This is just silver paint. His pants from the down to the boots are just a purple plastic. Some molded in wrinkles and some fabric molded in to the pants. He has a gun holster right here with a silver buckle. Black knee-high boots. This is a separate plastic for the boots. He has some silver buckles painted on the boots. You see texturing in the boots. And then this cape. Pretty cool cape. Again, this is some psychedelic type looking material too. See the silver straps on his back. It probably will come down over his shoulder. I don't think I'm going to undress this guy. And there's a hood on the cape, I believe. Or it pops up. You can just have it like kind of open, old player style. Yeah, on his forearms we have some gauntlets. There are casted. No, that is paint. Yep, the entire arm is his flesh tone. But this is purple paint. It looks good, so spot on. I thought it was like a separate piece. And then we get the silver paintwork, which again is lined up perfectly, coming down to his black gloves. Now these are black plastic right here. They have some texturing on these as well. Same thing over here, and like the paint is spot on. It looks really, really good. So let's do Mindbender's articulation. Let's get it. You can look up this far, which is a lot. Look down this far. And get some side to side rocking, 360 out of the head joint right there. And then while looking like a separate piece, the neck really, oh wait, I guess if you force it, the neck can move as well. I had to pull it really hard to get it to move. Let me see if it doesn't go up and down, but you can move the neck from side to side ever so slightly. Coming to his shoulders, and nice trapezoid muscle right there. Is that a tattoo of this fabric? I believe this is the fabric coming off on my figure. Heard about that. But back to his arm. The size of the arm up this far. And there is a butterfly joint right there. Get his arm in this far with that butterfly joint. 360 at the elbow. And again, I mean, this guy's molded very well. He is ripped. Elbow band right here. Coming down to his wrist, 360. The hinge is in his palm. In and out. Trigger finger over here. Let's check the hinge over here. See if we got a top or bottom. We got a top hinge over here. And not a whole lot out of it. You can see it in there. It's not really sticking out a lot. But I guess we can get that out of it for what it's worth. Coming down to his abs. The guy's ripped again. Comes back this far and folds over this far. He's not hindered by this little outfit he has on. Coming to his waist. Now we get to the hindrance right here. But the articulation is in there. Drop down hips, of course. Let's get him to drop down and get him moving. This leg is hindered by this holster, where it's put on there. This is all I can get. I mean, I could push it harder, but I'm not going to do that. But let's see. The articulation is there. Just that gun holster is hindering it. That far to the side. Let's see if we can do some sides over here. He get the full splits out of it. 360, that thigh joint right there. Double hinge knee. There's no boot cut here. Everything is at the ankle. We get it rocked side to side a lot, to the front a lot, and to the back a lot. Accessories. Now, he comes with a ton of accessories. This is probably the most accessories of G.I. Joe classified figure to date. Let's bring Dr. Mindbender from behind the tables. We're going to start with some standard stuff like his guns. Have no clue what this is. Some type of pistol. There's a hole. If you want to add a suppressor from another figure, you can do that. Let's get it in his hand. See how well it goes in his hand. It has standard G.I. Joe classified hands with a trigger finger. Pop, pop, pop. Take that, Joes. Pop, pop, pop. Bust your ass. Alright, next up is this. This isn't a weapon so much as it is like some type of injector. Like this would be like sort of like from Star Trek. But they should have made this clear so you can pretend like some fluid or liquid is in there. And it doesn't have the loop for the trigger or whatever. Here we get in his hand. And here we go. Even though, like I said, there's a tiny little trigger in there, but no little loop. And he can inject some unsuspecting Joes. Like with the hypo spray. Also, we should have no problem holstering his main weapon. I believe this is where this goes. Alright, next up we're going to take a look at the skull, and for some reason like the eyes are wrapped up. Like maybe it's possessed and alive still some way through some type of dark magic or something. You got to keep the eyes covered. And it is a two pieces separates because there is a brain, and apparently he's running experiments on it. It's still alive because it has some type of mechanical device at the base of the brain, and it fits right into this little cavity here. Boom. And we can recap the brain. You can see his brain through the crack of the skull. That is pretty cool stuff right there. And the skull has a gap in his teeth right there. Missing a couple. Alright, moving on. I'm not really sure what this is. I think this is from the vintage figure, and it connects to this gun right here. Like this was like a vintage figure accessory. It was never sure. I always thought it was some type of sci-fi laser gun. It has two connectors on this little soft plastic hose. It's not rubber. My mind wants to say rubber, but it's not rubber. We can connect it at this point, and we can connect it to here, or we can connect it at the top. And hopefully there's a port on Dr. Mindbender that you can port this in. And there it is. I believe that's it. I think that's it. I don't know. Just guessing at this point. Put that right there. And I seem to remember it wrapped around, the vintage toy wrapped around this side. However you want to do it. But I always, when I was a kid, I used it as some type of sci-fi laser for my vintage Dr. Mindbender. So next up are these like scientific lab containers. This is translucent red. I wish they did different colors or just did clear. Like, wow, they used clear for the monocle. But here is this one larger container. It separates into two pieces. Some silver plastic and some red plastic. And this brings about the next accessory. It's the hand that looks like he's trying to reanimate. It's gray for whatever reason. Has a couple cords in it. Looks like the Borg. And you can plug it into the base of this container. And you can seal it. It would have been so cool if they had done this in a clear plastic, and you could maybe fill this up with some dish liquid or something like that. Something that wouldn't ooze out real easily and make it seem like it was submerged in some liquid. But it still looks cool. You still see it. And the translucent red is foggy. Hasbro always has a foggy translucent plastic. Next up is the smaller container right here. And I think the brain goes in here. I may have to get the brain back. But these little things right here that I didn't want to lose, so I left them stuck to the tape. You pull these little things off. And it's sticking to me now. It's 4 of them. And there are all 4 of these like electro nodes or something like that going to here, I guess, to reanimate the brain. So let's get this off. Same deal. And the hole looks big enough. Let's see if we can plug it in. There's our brain. There's the container. And there we go. We can experiment now, oh great Serpentor. Alright, and for the last accessory is another gun type sci-fi, early Star Trek pilot episode type thing right here. This black plastic with some silver paint. We've seen it on the other weapon previously, and it also can be hooked to the holes as well, like so. An exact same thing. And now some people speculate that this one is some type of injection because it has this little tube right here. I don't know what it is. You can use it for whatever. Get it in his hand and back on his belt. Batman, I'm going to freeze you. I mean, you gotta admit this thing look like some type of freeze ray or something like that, right? Okay, now it's time to give the good doctor the size up and the rundown. Here's Transformers Siege Shockwave. Representing the Masterpiece line is Transformers Wheeljack. Master of the Universe Classics Modulok. Here's Marvel Legends Fantastic Four Reed Richards. Now I'm going to put Mindbender next to some Joes. Here's Classified's Cobra Commander, Sergeant Slaughter, and of course Cobra's Emperor Serpentor. This I command! Alright, I just gotta put Dr. Mindbender next to the cartoon model. And on this cartoon model, for some reason the pants come out blue when I do this, but they're supposed to be purple. But anyway, this cartoon model has the red Cobra emblems pinning down the cape, and our G.I. Joe Classified Dr. Mindbender has no Cobra emblems whatsoever. Okay, here's the wrap up and my final thoughts on Dr. Mindbender exclusive box set. This thing is incredible. Comes with a ton of accessories, appropriate and amazing. You get some familiar to the vintage toy accessories, some expansions upon that, some scientific props for Dr. Mindbender. You get the look from the vintage figure, a little bit modernized. He has a great paint job, great sculpted head. The monocle is awesome. The gauntlets are sweet, and the cape is cool. Everything about this box set is amazing. I would have been mad as hell if I didn't get one of these figures. Like, I'm still mad as hell about not getting a color change Zartan at retail price. Now, while this figure is awesome, it is not without its flaws. Let's bring it forward. The two flaws that I found that I don't like is the stains from the cape on the shoulders. I don't know if that's removal or not, if it's done sunk into the figure after all this time shipping and all of that packaging. It's on both shoulders, and it's very noticeable. On one shoulder. And also, the second flaw to me in this figure is the cape itself. Like, where they cut and sewed the fabric, that's kind of like, it's a little bit of an eyesore. Even if you got it down, you got to deal with this, like, double collared thing. And if you got it up, you can still see. It's just very noticeable. They could have cut and sewn the cape a little bit better. So those are the two flaws that I found with this figure. And I always have a wish list for these things. Things I wish could have been done better, but not necessarily a complaint, if you understand what I'm saying. I wish they had went with a different color choice for these little vials or tubes or whatever, or maybe one clear and then the other one red or something like that. That would have been cool. And this is a huge one. I mean, this is probably unrealistic, but I wish. Here is the July issue number 49. This is the vintage comic book from G.I. Joe Real American Hero, in which they comb the tombs of history's greatest conquerors. And this is Destro and Dr. Mindbender with a white mustache robbing a tomb, taking a mummy. And man, this comic book cover was so iconic with the eyeball. Like, how is the eyeball still out? But I wish we had got a mummy. I was about to drag that out totally. I wish we got a mummy and maybe a couple more bones or whatever. I'm going to try to find a mummy and a sarcophagus on scale with these guys, because I have to recreate this. That's just something I wish they had did, but this thing is awesome. The articulation is good, as I said before, standard G.I. Joe stuff. The sculpting in his chest and face is awesome. Perfect amount of accessories. Did you get this figure? Were you part of the first production run? Or did you get the reissue like I did? Did they delayed a couple times? Do you love this figure? Are you searching for this figure? Because it is definitely worth the pickup at a reasonable price. That's all I got for you guys. I want to thank you all for watching another episode of George Reviews. The reviews where every toy has a story. Cobra!